You know, I've heard people say, I'm old school. Usually they say it with a little bit of pride, sometimes with a little stubbornness. And honestly, there's a lot about the old school that deserves respect. Showing up on time, keeping your word, taking pride in your work, respecting your elders, finishing what you start, taking responsibility when things go wrong. Those ideas never get old. They're timeless. But here's something I've also learned. Old school doesn't mean closed minded. Some of the finest craftsmen I've ever worked with had decades of experience. They had scars, calluses, stories, and wisdom you couldn't find in any manual. But do you know what separated the truly great ones? They never stopped learning. They weren't threatened by a younger worker with a fresh idea. They weren't afraid of a better process. They weren't offended by new technology because their confidence wasn't built on their ego. It was built on their willingness to keep improving. That's the difference. There's a danger on both sides. Some people reject every new idea simply because it's new. Others reject every old lesson simply because it's old. Both miss something of value. Innovation without wisdom becomes reckless. Tradition without curiosity becomes stagnant. The builder needs both. Think about construction. A hammer has been around for thousands of years. It still works. But laser levels are pretty useful tools too. Steel-toed boots didn't replace craftsmanship. They made the craftsmanship safer. Modern cranes didn't eliminate skilled ironworkers. They expanded what skilled ironworkers could accomplish. Technology didn't replace the craftsman. It extended the reach of the craftsman. That's the pattern throughout history. The best builders don't choose between old and new. They combine the strengths of both. One provides wisdom. The other provides opportunity. You know, I've always appreciated working with experienced people who were willing to teach. But I also appreciated younger workers who asked, why do we do it this way? Sometimes the answer was, because it's still the best way. Other times, the question itself uncovered an improvement nobody had considered. That's healthy. Questions aren't disrespectful. Questions are how learning happens, and learning keeps the craft alive. One of the greatest mistakes a person can make is believing they have nothing left to learn. The moment we stop learning, we stop growing. The moment we stop growing, we slowly begin falling behind. The world keeps moving. The tools improve. The materials improve. The science improves. The methods improve. If we're paying attention, we improve too. That doesn't require abandoning our principles. In fact, strong principles make change easier because principles stay steady while methods evolve. Honesty doesn't change. Integrity doesn't change. Responsibility doesn't change. Craftsmanship doesn't change. The tools may change. The standards never should. I sometimes think the best description of leadership is this: carry the wisdom of yesterday while building the opportunities of tomorrow. That's exactly what every generation owes the next. Pass along what worked. improve what can be improved. Leave things a little better than you found them. That's innovation, not replacing the past, building upon it. So if you're the experienced hand on the crew, teach, share, encourage. If you're the younger person just starting out, listen, observe, ask questions, earn trust. Because somewhere between old school wisdom and new thinking, extraordinary things happen. That's where the craftsmanship evolves. That's where innovation becomes practical. That's where generations build together. And maybe that's where the future is built. I'm Bubba, and this is nothing new under the sun. All right, boys and girls, that's my thoughts on the subject. I appreciate you stopping by, and I appreciate you watching. Make sure that you give me the thumbs up down below to encourage me to make more videos of this type. Also, subscribe to the channel where you'll find additional videos of this nature, and you'll be notified of new releases. Make sure that you share this video with like-minded people and comment on the content of this video. And until we see each other again, as always, have a grateful day, and we'll see you next time.